Hi guys, this is a demonstration lap for North Sweden, and this is done for an upcoming race at the Race to Play. And I've done the lap for anyone who uh, wants a little bit of an indication on what lines to drive and what gearing to use, your braking points and so on. So I'm in the Porsche 997 here in my office. Well, I'm not actually in the Porsche, but yes, this is done with 60 liters approximately, the lap, and I've got a low wing setting, front wing set at 1, rear wing set at 5, and I'm on soft tires. So I'm on the start finish line now, and as you can see, I'm in 6th gear, already full power, coming onto the start finish straight. And in the distance there you can see the start lights, and those start lights are the first brake marker. As soon as I'm under those lights, I start moving the car over to the left side of the road. I shift down 1 gear, 5th gear, stabilize the car first, bringing the car over to the left side and keeping it there for the following quick right-hander. It's sort of an S, it goes like this. Same corner radius, so for a very quick line through, you bring the car over to the left, 5th gear, staying 5th, then clip your apex points, bringing the car over to the left again, and then just follow the line to the right side of the road. Then we come upon the first tunnel. Now this is one of the more dangerous sections of the track while the telephone is ringing. And this is dangerous because if you carry too much speed into the corner, you're gonna lose the rear end of the car. Telephone has stopped, that's good. You're gonna lose the rear end of the car if you carry too much speed into the corner, because it gets tighter after the apex. And or if you steer in too tightly, you're gonna lose it again, because the front wheels get too grippy and the rear gets light and it just spins out from under you. So you have to be aware of that. Stabilize the car. Down 1 gear, 5th gear, clip your apex point. And then you have to position the car for the next tunnel. So what I do is I bring the car over to the left side. I clip the curbing there, and then into the middle of this corner tunnel, you have to shift down again to 4th gear. You stay on the right side of the road here. You hug the fencing there, and this gives you a quick line out of the corner into the next tunnel. Start putting on the power there, accelerate out, bringing it over to the right side. And now we come upon a very quick left-hander. And what I do is I use this tree here as a reference point for my steering in point. And just before I pass this tree, I start steering into the apex there. And if you do this correctly, you can take this corner flat. Bring it over to the left side. Now this is also a tricky corner because this is taken in 4th gear. It's hard to find your apex point, and you also get tempted to go into the corner a little bit too fast. But you start braking just before those trees here. And you have to be very careful not to carry too much speed into the corner, or you're going to slam into the fencing on the left side, and that will probably give you flat tires, so you have to be aware of that. So don't steer in too soon. I went a little bit wide there, but it wasn't dangerous. Now bring the car over to the right side of the road again for another very quick left-hander. Now just before I reach the fencing here, I bring the car over to the apex, and this can't be taken flat out in 6th gear. So what I do to keep my momentum up is shift down 1 gear to 5th, and as soon as I hit the apex here, I start putting back the power on, because there's room enough to do that. So you drift a little bit out to the right side. Now the following section is completely flat. Now you should hit your apex point here, which I don't, by a mile. Well, it doesn't matter, it only cost me a few hundredths of a second. And then another very dangerous corner. There's going to be a lot of tears and casualties here, because this corner here is taken in 4th gear, and after the apex it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and if you're not aware of that, you're gonna carry so much speed into the corner that you're gonna slam into the fencing here again on the left side. So I use these trees here again as my reference point for braking. Just before I pass them, I start braking, stabilize the car, not too quick on the downshifts. Now you see what happens there. I'm a bit too quick into the corner and I almost lose the car there. Quick correction, but that's the danger of the corner. So quick straight, short one, and then we come upon again a very quick 5th gear corner. Now the road falls down here, and what you have to do is clip your apex point here, and you can see it's a bit banked, and because it's a bit banked you can clip your apex point, and then as soon as you hit your apex point you put the power back on, and you drift to the right side of the road. And you would think that I would go off in the following sequence, but that's not the case, because you've got a lot of room there to accelerate out. So it looks like I'm going off. I'm just keeping the power on. Again, short straight. Now this corner here is also a 5th gear corner. You go into the corner in 6th, and you touch the brake slightly. You let the car slow down a little bit, and you would think that this would be your apex point, but it's not. It's much further down, hidden behind the slope here, and it's actually somewhere around here. So you have to carry the car in 6th gear in while you're braking and stabilizing, drop down 1 gear, and as soon as you hit your apex point you start putting back the power on, bringing the car over to the left side of the road and accelerate out again. So you see here, I'm not turning in yet. This is your apex point here. Powering out again. Use all your engine power to get out, because it's uphill, so you have to start putting down the power a bit earlier to compensate for that. Now this is a bit of a long straight, and this is one of the braking zones where you go all the way down to 2nd gear. So what you have to do is you brake in a straight line here, because if you start braking in a crossed line, you're gonna lose the car. So you have to brake in a straight line here all the way down to 2nd gear, and this goes downhill, and just before you reach the dip here you have to be 2nd gear. So the dip is approximately over here, and you have to be in 2nd gear here. And why is that? Because after the dip the road goes back up again, and when it goes back up you're gonna need a lot of engine power to get enough speed and momentum to make it up the hill. So if you're too late and you reach 2nd gear here in the dip at the lowest point, you're gonna have to use a lot of engine power to work your way back up the hill. So it's done like this, and power on, going up again. You see I carry some momentum that gives me an easier exit. Now this is the beginning of section 3, and after these poles here the car goes to the road goes to the right side, and it falls all the way down, very very big. So when you go over this the crest of the hill here, the car becomes very light and the tires lose their grip. So what you have to do is stabilize the car And I don't drop down one gear to third gear because that makes the car too nervous and it wants to spin out from under me. So I keep the car in fourth gear because that makes it a little bit more stable, and that compensates also for the loss of tire grip that you get here. So I just brake all the way into the corner. I don't shift down. I bring it over the curb here, and as soon as you go over the curb, you start putting back the power on. You see how much it falls down there, so be very aware of the car being very light. And you start putting back down the power, and you use these curbings here, the curb here, you go all the way over it, and then it goes still down, and at the end of that you get a very quick right hander, and just before the fencing here you start braking and bringing the car over to the right side of the road. Hit your apex point. I go a little bit to wide here, putting back the power. After this apex, the road falls back down again. The car becomes again very light, and what happens to me a lot, or what happened to me a lot, was that I carry too much speed into the corner and that I hit the far end of the fencing here. There. So you have to be very aware of the correct line through this corner, because if you take it too wide, you're going to drift to the right side of the road and you're going to hit this point, and that's going to DNF you. So this is the most safest way to negotiate this. And then as you come upon the second apex, you already start putting down the power here. And that leads you onto this blind left-hander. You see on the top of the crest, you can't see you can't see where you're going, so you can't see the proper line, how to negotiate the corner. And what I do is I bring the car over to the left side of the road, over the curbing here, clip my apex point, and then as soon as I see these treetops, these here, this is my marker. As soon as I see this, I start putting back the power again, and you can, in a bit of a curved line, you can start putting back the power again on, and you have to be aware of the fencing here. But as you can see, you can accelerate out here, bringing the car over to the right side of the road. So this is also gonna cause a lot of grief, tears, tension and anxiety. But if you practice this a little bit, it won't give you any headaches. Straight again. Now you have to be aware of this kink here, because if you keep it too much to the left side of the road, you're going to be on the snow and maybe in trouble. So I already compensate for that by keeping a bit on the middle. Now this corner here is also banked, and as you can see, it goes to the right, and I use this apex point here as my reference point, and as soon as I hit my apex point here, I start putting back the power again on, because it's banked, you're gonna need a little bit more engine power to work your way up the hill again. And so you start accelerating a bit earlier than normal to compensate for the banking. Bring it over to the left side again. Not steering in just yet, but now, here, this is sort of your apex. Onto the second to last corner. Now just before passing this pole here, you start bringing the car over to the left side, hitting your apex point here, and then you can take the corner almost flat. You need just a little lift in 6th gear, keep it in 6th gear, and if you if you don't lift, you're going to be on the right side in the snow. Now this pit marker here, I use as my reference point for the following corner. As soon as I pass this, I bring the car over the white lines to the right side of the road, and if you do it like that, you can take this corner flat. I'm a bit too wide here, but it's not too dangerous. So onto the start-finish straight, over the line, 1 lap of North Sweden. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys on track. Bye bye.